Welcome to Education and More's Learn Python 3 Programming at a Snail's Pace. My name is Marcus Gardner. I'm the instructor for this course. In today's lesson, we're talking about understanding what we have done so far and about the problems you may have faced. Okay. Programming, well, it's a little different than what you expected, especially since you heard that math and programming go together. Okay. But actually, math and foreign languages are more closely related. Let me explain that. In math versus programming, okay, well, in programming we do use math, okay? You've actually seen some. All right. But let me give you an example. When you're learning math, for example, you learn how multiplying this together give you 6x squared minus 10x plus 9x, which is going to give you minus x, and then minus 15. Okay? So what happens in math class? You learn how to do this. We call it the FOIL method. First times first, first times second, second times first, second times second. And then what do? You do a whole bunch of those problems. Okay? Similarly, going the other way, you learn factoring. You know, for example, you're given this trinomial, 1, 2, 3 pieces, so it's called a trinomial, and we factor it, okay? Because 2x times x is 2x squared, 2x times minus 1 is minus 2x, plus x gives you a total of minus x, and plus 1 times minus 1 gives you minus 1. So you're given a whole bunch of trinomials to factor. Well, that's the way math class is set up. You learn a technique, and then you're given lots of homework to do, and you repeat over and over and over. Okay? Now, in programming, you learn a technique, for example, the while method. But there's really nothing like this we can do, okay? I can't say do the while method for, I really can't list things, okay? Here, I can just put in some random numbers. Okay, I can put 3, I can put 5, I can put 7, okay? It won't work. Or, use some other things, okay? It may not work, okay? I don't want to spoil it for you, so give it a try. But anyway, I can put random numbers in here, and then I could try to factor it, okay? Later on, or you probably already had it, you'll know immediately whether it will factor or not. The hard part is actually finding the factors, especially when you put in things like 32 and, 62 or, 64. Big numbers like this that have lots of factors. That's the fun part. But anyway, programming doesn't have that. Okay? But it's very important that you learn those techniques. We've used the while method many times. We've gotten strings from the input. We've got integers from the input many times. We're using the try except many times. It's very important you learn those techniques by doing problems over and over. But we just can't say, I want you to do 20 of these problems to focus on those types of things like while loops and inputs and try, accept, etc. Okay? It's more like a foreign language. Back in math, you have algebra, you have geometry, you have trigonometry, in some places called pre-calculus, and you have calculus. Okay? So once you learn a bunch of algebra, then you're done with it. Well, you're not really. You're going to use that later, okay? But you are done studying algebra. You now go on to something harder. For example, geometry or trigonometry, okay? So we can encapsulate all of that information, okay? This is algebra. This ball right here represents algebra. This ball right here represents trigonometry, but it uses algebra. So think of it as a big set. Trigonometry is this set. Algebra is this set. Algebra sits within trigonometry. And inside of that trigonometry, we're inside of a bigger set called calculus. Okay? So we can encapsulate the data. Okay. Now, programming is more like a foreign language. If you're having trouble with math, or if your son, daughter is having trouble with math, give them to me for a month and I can turn them around. I can really get them, I can make them learn a lot, a whole lot within a month. Can you do that with a foreign language? No. It can't be done. Right now, here it is 2019 December, and I'm teaching English here in China. And I got these parents that are complaining, my child has been with you, 16 weeks for an hour and a half each week. Why haven't they made big strides? They don't understand. English is not like math. Okay? You give me an hour and a half for 16 weeks, I'm going to teach your child a whole bunch of math. Okay? I'm going to make them excellent. You can't do that with a foreign language. Foreign language is something that takes many, many, many hours a week of learning. Okay? I didn't understand that when I was in high school. I wish I can go back in time and kick myself in the butt. I didn't really learn Spanish until I actually went to Mexico. I had 4 years of high school of Spanish. I took the AP exam. I got a 1. I'm being honest. I got a 1. In case you don't know, 1 is the lowest number you can get in the AP exam. It goes 1 to 5. It's because why? It's because after class, all I did was speak English. At home, I spoke English. Okay? It's not until I went to Mexico and I was forced to speak Spanish all day long. I had already had 2 years in college also, so I had 6 years of Spanish before I went to Mexico. I went into the store. I was proud of myself. I said, "Tiene jugo? Do you have juice?" And the guy looked at me, "Huh?" I said, "Tiene jugo." I know I'm saying it right. I know I'm right. He said, "Huh?" And it took a while. And then finally someone helped me. "Tiene jugo." I was saying it so slow that he thought I was saying who, go. 2 words. He didn't understand what is who, go. So it was because I learned it from an American. And because I practiced it slow, making sure my pronunciation was correct. But I didn't have the speed that was needed. They were expecting me to speak very quickly. And so it took me a while. So from then on, after that day, before I met someone, I practiced the sentence in my head before I spoke. It was not good, okay? But at least I got through it. So how do you learn a foreign language? You have to spend many, many hours a week. That's the only way to learn a foreign language. Just like programming. You noticed how much homework I gave you? A lot. Because if you're one of these people that says, okay, I'm going to do one programming assignment on while loop and then I know it, you'll never be a programmer. Okay? It doesn't work that way. Okay? It's just like, in math class and you just try one of these. Okay, I got that one. I understand how to do them now. It doesn't work that way. Okay? So, you really got to keep working. In a foreign language, what do? First thing you do is you learn your sight words. Okay, in English, the words you're supposed to know on sight. These are the very first, words you learn. Hello. Hi. Okay? And then you learn, grade 2 level, grade 3 level words, 4 level words, grade 5. They don't get, when you take a class, they don't give you a dictionary that says, okay, we're going to cover the first 50 pages of the dictionary. No. Okay? You learn the beginning words first, and then the important words, and then we add more words, okay? A little at a time, okay? And to learn Spanish, you're taking 4 years of it. Some people did great. I didn't. I wasn't as studious then as I am now, okay? So you've really got to take the time to try to learn the language. Programming language. So consider programming language like Spanish. In fact, some universities are accepting programming languages instead of foreign language. And then you have the different tenses. You got your present tense, you got the past tense, you got the future tense, and quite a few others. Unfortunately, I don't know how many tenses English has. I was not a very good English student either. I was a BC student, being honest, okay? Math and computers was my forte. Back then, I thought that was all that was needed. I didn't realize how important English is. Right now, I'm wishing, I can go back and kick myself and learn English really well. But anyway, tenses. In Spanish, I think there's around 18 tenses. Around there. I think that's how many. I forgot. But anyway, you don't learn them all at the beginning. Okay? You learn the present tense first. And then you learn the past, future, and then you learn some other ones. I forgot the names. Sorry. But there are lots of different tenses you learn. So it's the same thing with programming. Okay? I taught you some strings, but I didn't teach you everything about strings. There's a whole lot more you can do with strings, and I'm going to be teaching to you about those later. So think of strings like tenses. We know about what a string is. Later, I'm teaching you the different tenses of the strings, as you want to call it. Okay, the different things you can do with it. Okay. Right now, I think the next lesson I'm going to teach you a little bit about for, but there's a lot more stuff you can do with for. Earlier, I taught you about random numbers, but I only taught you 2 things about random numbers. There's a lot more methods, functions you can do with random. But again, I like teaching, most important thing first, and then growing on what you've learned. So that is how you're going to learn a programming language. Now, I don't know how you did on this test. Okay, you may not have done well. Ask yourself, how many of the homework problems did you try? Honestly, don't lie. Okay? It takes a lot of work. So if you didn't do well, go back and listen to the videos and go back and do all of the homework. Yes, it's tedious. But ask yourself, in the future, what do you want? What's your goal? If you would like to have a good job working for me, or even another company, then you're going to need to do a lot more work. You're going to need to be doing a lot more exercises. Okay? You can't be doing 1 or 2 problems of this, 1 or 2 problems of this, and expecting to be a great math person. Okay? Same thing with your foreign language. Okay? You can't spend a few minutes doing homework. You've got to, actually, the best way is to go visit that foreign country and learn the foreign language. Programming, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just do it at home, okay? But it still takes a lot of time. You can't do it just on the weekends. That's the problem Chinese have. They have so much homework. They don't have time to do the extra work that is necessary to learn something new. Okay? So, hopefully you can spend an hour or more each day. Not just an hour on a weekend. Okay? Hopefully a couple hours or a few hours on the weekend. This will help you really become a good programmer. I will continue to go slow. No matter how complicated the things will go, I will not speed up. Many of these other companies once you've learned some material, they say, oh, now we can start speeding up. I won't do that. So that's why I'm going to have a whole lot more lessons than anybody else. And they're going to go slow. Some of the material is complicated. So I may repeat the material over and over, giving you lots of examples and I'm going through it. But please try to do the programs on your own. As you already saw, I try to ask you to stop the video and do the problem yourself first. Whether you do that or not, I don't know. But if you want to be a great programmer, you really need to do that. Stop the video when I tell you to stop it. Try to solve it on your own. Don't just sit there. Okay, tell me the answer. Okay, great. Now I know. I'm a programmer. You're not going to be a good programmer. You're not going to work for me. You're not going to work for a big company if you have that attitude. You got to be the one that says, okay, we try. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe let's try this. Let me try this. Let me try this. Ah, yes, I got it. Okay. Or I couldn't get it. No, I can't get it. Let me see what the answer is. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay, let me try another program. Okay. If you're one of those two programmers, I want you. I don't care if you're number one, that first type that finally figured it out on your own, or the second part where you had to have some help and then you tried another program to make sure you understood it. If you're one of those two, I want you. Okay? Now, some of these other big companies, they may only want the first part. They may not want the second part. I do. Okay? That's what's needed to be a good programmer. So, after this first test, ask yourself, what is your goal? If it's just to learn some programming so you can get into college, so be it. Okay? But if you want a great job, if you want to improve your future, which is what I'm trying to do with a lot of Filipinos. Again, you don't have to be Filipino, but if you really want to improve your future, then do it my way, and I will ensure you a great future. Okay? All right. So there's no homework for this section. I just wanted you to understand what your problem might have been and what to do from here on out. So next up, we're going to learn about files, opening files, and we're going to learn about lists and strings. It's going to be a very long section because those three things are very important. There's lots of things you can do with them, and they all go together. So good luck. Hope to see you in my future classes. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.